All right, another study that has come out telling us that the Arctic and the Antarctic are warming faster than they thought. This year, we saw the Arctic getting incredibly warm, even some really heavy melting. And since that time, the vortexes and our winds around the poles have been completely disrupted, and they're looping and causing all kinds of chaos around the U.S. and other countries, Canada, Europe, and even the vast Russia empire. But again, that's not what we're going to talk about today. Let's go over the board and let's talk about whales. So there's been an invasion up in the North Pole area. 2 invasions that we know of so far, maybe even 3 if you think about it. One of them is the shipping invasion, where huge ships are now starting to go through the Northwest Passage and saving money on cargo delivery. Soon there'll be Arctic drilling going on all over the Arctic here in the US and other countries, especially Russia, while they all try to pretend to be the supplier of the world's oil. But there's another invasion, and that's the exotic species that are being brought up into the Arctic by the bilge water and what's stuck on the underside of these ships, introducing new exotic species into once pristine Arctic areas. But another study went up into the Arctic and found the microplastic in that area has gone the concentration is higher than 7 times what it was just last year. They're finding huge blocks of microplastic in the ice, and when it thaws, this microplastic then goes back into the water and the ecosystem of the North Pole and surrounding seas. This time they found 17 different types of microplastic and plastic floating in the sea and frozen in the ice. So they found out what the footprint of this plastic is by what the chemicals are that it has absorbed, and they can tell where the plastic came from. Well, it looks like it came from the Great Pacific Ocean Garbage Patch. It's somehow getting from there up into the Arctic. So some of this plastic is so small, it's 50 micrometers or smaller. That means it gets into the environment really easy, and it's very susceptible to being eaten by all kinds of animals who think it's food. Oh, and by the way, then we eat those animals, and that microplastic is now in us, embedding itself into the fat, embedding itself into the fat, embedding itself into the fat, fat. They also found out that recently that microplastic concentrations were up to 6,500 particles per kilogram of sea floor. So what has happened is that this microplastic sinks and starts building up on the bottom of the ocean, and then the ocean bottom feeders end up eating the plastic, and then we eat the bottom feeders in some other way. The experts are saying this is extremely high. It's making most of the world's whales very sick, and that's why we're seeing so many washed up, dead, both whales and dolphins all around the world. And that's just the ones we see. Once again, this is humanity not caring about what they're doing with their waste. Once it's out of their hands, it's out of their mind, and the waste is gone as far as they're concerned. As far as the whales, porpoises, and other marine life in the ocean, that plastic isn't going anywhere. And you know, some really sad news is that these fossil fuel companies are going to ramp up 7 new plastic manufacturing companies around the world. and it's going to increase the amount of plastic that we both use and throw away by 7-fold. In just a few more years, these plants will be finished. Oh boy. If you happen to be in some kind of government position, maybe a moratorium on plastic bags to start with, and then go for the coffee cups, throw away coffee cups. So, this is sort of a tribute to all of our sick whales and dolphins and other marine life in the ocean. And I definitely appreciate all your ups and your downs and your new subscribers. And until next time.